Pepsi Prebiotic Cola in original and cherry vanilla. That Pepsi taste you love with just 30 calories and no artificial sweeteners. Pepsi Prebiotic Cola. Unbelievably Pepsi.
Justin, how's your Facebook, Instagram skills these days, man?
It's all depending on how much time I have.
Yeah.
I'm not a consistent Facebooker, and that's like a big gap in my game. But like when I'm up there, I can actually engage and do some audience building. But I just get stuck in the work, man.
Really? Yeah. I actually, my Facebook game is dead now because I don't use that rotten platform anymore. But some people love it, and actually, some people make really good money doing Facebook ads and Instagram ads. And you know what? We have someone who can like fill us in because obviously there's a gap in my knowledge. And
well, since you are one of Mark Zuckerberg's top fanboys, this will be a great interview. This is going to be good.
That's right. So without any further ado, we will dissect the alien androids platform with our very special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Andros Sturgeon.
And I am Justin Womack.
And we are the Marketing Geeks.
Blowing ad budget on metrics that look great till the CFO sees them. That's bull spend. And marketers are calling it out in Dashboard Confessions.
I remember telling my boss, it'll be good for the brand, when leads were slow. Yeah, it wasn't.
Cut the bull spend. LinkedIn lets you target by company, job title, and more. Advertise on LinkedIn. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a $250 credit. Go to linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
Your favorite local grocery stores like Kroger, Ralph's, Fred Meyer, and more are now delivering on Uber Eats. Get 40% off your order of fresh, quality ingredients. Whether you just got home to an empty fridge or suddenly got a craving to whip up something new, you can get everything you need delivered in as little as 25 minutes. Get 40% off your order with code Kroger2026. Plus, members get $0 delivery fees. Order now on Uber Eats. Orders of $30 or more save up to $25. Ends 4/30/26. See app for details.
All right. Welcome. Hey, we have a guest, man, and this guest.
We do.
Yeah, this guest has 25 years of experience in sales and marketing, and has the uncanny ability to take another company's mission, vision, and message and get it in front of the right people at the right time through authentic marketing. And we talk about authentic marketing, so I want to hear more about that. And this guest is also certified in all things related to Instagram and Facebook ads, and currently manages $4 million in ad spend. That can buy a lot of ping pong balls right there. And
a lot of Royale with cheeses over in Holland.
That's right. And she is also the co-host of the Social Media Marketing Happy Hour podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, Traci Reuter.
Woohoo! You guys are awesome. You're cracking me up over here. So glad to be here.
Well, we're glad you're here too, man. Thank you so much for being on the show, and I'm actually thrilled because I hate on Facebook a lot, because you can listen to old episodes to understand why. But I actually would love to know a little bit of your expertise. So tell us, for our listeners who don't know you, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, what I haven't covered already?
Yeah, gosh, whenever I hear somebody say with 25 years of sales and marketing, I feel like the grandma these days. I am not a millennial. Let's just put it that way.
I hear you.
Yeah, my gosh. But yeah, so I actually, it's a cool story for how I ended up getting in this and my background and all. I actually got my degree in marketing, but I almost didn't make it through college because I grew up in a factory town. My mom was a single parent raising me, couldn't afford college. And so my uncle's one of those quintessential success stories. Comes from Greece, doesn't have, more than like $3 in his pocket, and ends up becoming a multimillionaire. And through being kind of a rich dad, poor dad situation, I really got to see the power of entrepreneurship. The coolest thing was, actually I have two situations with that really applies to what I do today. One is when I was like 5, he took me and my grandfather to this business. Actually, it was like a strip mall, and we went into this shop, and it was all under construction. And he started walking around and saying the oven's going to go here, and the seats are going to go here, and then before I knew it, in front of my eyes, manifested this like pizza restaurant that ended up. I worked in it in high school, not in high school. I worked, quote unquote, like I'm a little kid, like 8, 9 years old, like helping. But it was really cool to see something from nothing, right? And then fast forward a few years later, I think I'm somewhere around 11, 12 years old. He takes my grandfather and I again to this huge, huge plot of land where it's all staked out. And he says, this building's going to go here and this building's going to go here. And he ended up becoming one of the biggest commercial developers in this one little tiny town in Cape Cod in Massachusetts. And
just out of curiosity, did he have like entrepreneur parents, or like did he have some sort of background? Is your uncle? Is that your dad's brother?
It's my mom's sister's husband. My mom's sister married him to keep him from being deported.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, he was going to be deported, and that's how he ended up, in my life. And no, he did. Well, I guess technically he did have entrepreneurial parents. They were peach farmers.
Okay, that's loose, but yeah.
loose, yeah. I think just a really ambitious, came for the American dream. And I didn't realize until just a few years ago, I was doing as entrepreneurs, right? We do these courses. There's a great course, Chris Smith. It's like, I think that's his name. It's the campfire effect. Anyway, he takes entrepreneurs through this process to really understand your background story and why you're wired and how you are. And I never really put 2 and 2 together until I realized, like, holy crap, like that's why I'm so good at seeing things before they happen, because he demonstrated it. And I connected this love of, marketing that I fell in love with years ago, with being able to serve these entrepreneurs who are taking risks. Because, let me tell you what, that man came here with nothing. And because he took risks, his life changed. My aunt's life changed. My cousins were Subway franchisee owners at 18. I didn't have that luxury, but he did pay for my college education. So I got a marketing degree because of him. And so, he is a, I don't know if this is an R-rated show or not, but he is a badass.
Oh, it is. It's an R-rated show.
Okay. This man is he's in his 70s now and going strong, and still thinks he can take over the world at any given moment. And it's just been I had an amazing opportunity to learn, just to see from the sidelines and up close from him. So,
well, 2 things there. Number one, it shows the power of having a mentor, because you had a mentor from a young age, and like you hear Robert Kiyosaki's story, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, like that's a great example of proper mentorship versus maybe genial mentorship or your normal lineage. And also it's the kind of that, I listen to Gary Vaynerchuk a lot, and he talks about how like immigrants just have like a work ethic at a different level than most US born or, domestic.
That's honestly,
it's so true.
That's the thing that drives me absolutely bonkers, is when there's this like rage against immigrants. It's like, man, look, first of all, immigrants have built, they are the American dream, number one. And number 2, every human mind is a resource. We don't know where the next Stephen Hawking or Bill Gates is going to come from. And, one generation in, it can make amazing stuff happen. So you limit those ideas and those exchanges of cultures and values. It limits human potential, right?
For sure. And the flip side of it all is my mom, being a single mom, had an incredible work ethic, worked 2 jobs, all the time, always worked. But her mantra to me was get a good job with benefits. And ironically, that's what I did, right? I got out of college and I went, did a couple of things and ended up at AT&T and got a sales job with my marketing degree. I realized, oh wait, I like the sales arm of marketing better than some of the other things, better than like operations and some of that stuff. but I got into that trap of, being secure and having having a good job with benefits, and did really well, did crazy well. It was a great career. Moved to Chicago, and I'm from New England originally, and I moved to Chicago and got promoted after promoted. Before you know it, I'm running an $80 million business unit. And our clients are everything from Motorola to Joe's Plumbing. But on my 29th birthday, my husband, at the time, who was 34, well, he's still my husband. He's been my husband for almost 25 years.
But he was 34 back then.
He was 34 back then. He is not 34 anymore. So my 29th birthday, he was 34. He got diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. And I was working 80 plus hours a week. Now, this was before she went to jail, but I used to say, if Martha Stewart can run a empire on 4 hours of sleep a night, so can I. And I was a workaholic, and I was never home. And I remember that crisis and saying, what the hell am I going to do? I can't do this. I need to be home. He had to stop working. It was terrible. And I immediately went back to my uncle, and I didn't go to him, but I went to him in my mind and was like, okay, what would he do? Do I open a restaurant? What do I do? And
pizza restaurant.
A pizza. Well, that's exactly what it was. Right. Cause I grew up working in a pizza restaurant. Man, I loved being able to walk into the cooler and grab handfuls of cheese. It was awesome. So good. But it was that I went back to, I went back to that well of what I saw growing up to say, what the hell am I going to do to get through this? And it wasn't a linear path. There was a lot of error and screw up and bankruptcy and, going from a $400,000 a year income to we can't afford groceries. It was not easy. And it took a while, but it ended up actually being through my show, through the podcast. I met somebody, I met a colleague, and we started teaching social media. And it was through that show where I really started geeking out over Facebook ads, because gosh, you could put $1 in and get $1 out. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Well, let's take a step back for a second, though, because so you were at AT&T in a senior marketing role,
a sales role, senior sales. Yeah, I was a
okay.
Yep.
What was it that made you leave initially? You lack, for me, when I worked in corporate, it was the lack of control over my schedule was the biggest thing, I think, because I was so miserable, and I don't like routine either. Yeah. So feeling trapped in routine and having somebody else have control over my schedule was rough. But what was it for you? And then what business did you end up starting right when you did leave and you started your first business after leaving that? Was that right away into social media, or what was the first business? Was it a marketing agency without social, or what was it?
Yeah. So part of what made me leave, there's a couple things. So I ended up taking a leave of absence because my husband getting sick, and at the same time, the aunt who married the Greek immigrant was dying. She was dying and ended up passing away. So I was finding myself I couldn't handle the pressure of. I had 120 people who worked for me in the sales organization. So I covered the Midwest, Chicago, Indianapolis, Milwaukee, that whole area. And the pressure of that and my family life falling apart, I would trap myself in the ladies' room and sob, and then fix my makeup and go back into a meeting about how are we going to get more market share from the Hispanic market? Stuff that at the time I was I don't care. I just don't care about this.
Kind of a values clash where you want to be with your family, but your job doesn't fit.
How did you get through that time? That must have been pretty intense.
Brutal. Yeah, it was pretty rough. I unfortunately I had an even more brutal childhood. So this was hard, but it was kind of I'd been prepared, I think. I don't know. It was I'll be honest, it was a very, very difficult time in my life. And still, I wonder, people ask me all the time, you and your husband, it's been 19 years and you smile all the time. And I'm it could have been worse. He could be dead. He could be an asshole. There could be a lot of things that could be worse. But I think it was through, took a leave of absence, got some help, started seeing a therapist, got some help back then. And it was during that time I took the full advantage of the Family Medical Leave Act that they had here in the US, right? And I did that for 12 weeks. And during that 12 weeks, I think that ruined me forever for corporate. I never really liked authority very well. And that goes back to some stuff that happened when I was a kid. And I just didn't realize how much it was just killing me. But then I wasn't really thinking start a business. I was trying to think of start a business, but I wasn't confident. So I ended up taking a position with Dun & Bradstreet. I don't know if you know who they are, pretty big company, data company. And I was their area vice president, killer money, sick money. But a part of my soul for serving big corporations was dead. And so I lasted there for about 10 months. And then what I ended up doing is I ended up doing network marketing, thinking that was going to be it.
What were you selling?
Oh God, like the most horrific nutritional product ever. The results people were getting were amazing, but it tasted like,
the taste was terrible.
There's no taste in the world that tastes like this. Like you'd have to hold your nose. It was awful.
And how did you do with that?
I did horrible, like absolutely horrible. And I had never really failed at anything.
Hundreds a month, maybe.
Yeah, hundreds. Well, so I stayed with that way too long. That's how we ended up like running through all of our money. And then I did end up going to another company, and that company, I crushed it. I was their top earning female. I was on their board of directors.
Another network marketing company?
Another company.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But what ended up and our like top crushing it was like $4,000 a month. Like it but
it's just nice. I mean, it's still pretty good. Yeah.
Still pretty. Yeah. Yeah. No, trust me. It's not that bad, but it's not like, but what ended up happening
not when you were making it Dun & Bradstreet.
Oh my God, no. Yeah, I know. I'm like making $100,000 a quarter, and now I'm like, ooh, 4,000. Anyway, the company that I was succeeding in, the CFO liked hookers and drugs, and when he was trying to expand,
who doesn't?
Well, you're right, Andros. You're right. Damn it! I knew this would be too fun today. I don't want everybody to know my secrets. But so he ended up embezzling a bunch of money, and the company went out of business. And it was like, oh my God, this is awful. And so I just
what industry was this one in? This was also health and wellness.
This was also nutrition.
So
yeah, this is also nutrition.
Over the course, like how long? What was the time span? Like your husband getting sick, like getting going through all of this, like burning through your money, doing what time frame are we talking about?
Way too freaking long. Honestly, like I there was a piece of me back then that was so stubborn and prideful that I should have went and got a job because I was super skilled. Do you know what I mean? I was super talented and super skilled, but I was like, no, I will make this work. So it was from, 2005 until, I launched my agency 5 years ago. So almost 10 years, 10 years of just torture.
So what was the kind of the moment that you're like, you know what, I'm going to start this agency and I'm going to move forward. And what was kind of like the plan at that point?
Yeah. So that's kind of when the podcast, the social media marketing happy hour comes into play. At the time, I had been mentored by a really big JV marketer. Like he was really big into affiliate marketing, JV marketing. And
Can you say his name by chance? I'm just curious.
Lawrence Tam.
Okay. Don't know, but I was curious. I know some of them that are very into that.
Yeah. So he's in that space and great guy, calls himself the Frugal Asian. He started making like $100K a month doing what he was doing, and he had no sales background. So he actually hired me to run business development for him. And I learned in exchange, I learned digital marketing. Like I learned everything. I learned SEO. I learned email. I learned everything. And so because of him, I started meeting some people in the space, and, I met my co-host for Social Media Marketing Happy Hour, and we just had this chemistry, and we were like, let's do something. So we started doing Google Hangouts, teaching different things, right? Everything from funnels to email marketing, and thinking, okay, like how can we monetize this? And we started the podcast. The podcast came after all the Google Hangouts and stuff. And originally we were trying to use it to recruit for network marketing. And so we launched the show and end up having 1 million downloads in 5 months.
Oh, wow.
Like crazy. Like
now, when was this? This is
this would have
5
been,
years ago or more?
This would have been 5 years, 2013, 2014. I lose track of time because the crazy thing is we went off the air for 3 years. Okay. And we've been back on since early this year. But so while we were doing all of that and teaching all that stuff, that's when I started to really get into the ad side, and I would talk about it on the show. And I started having a few people approach me saying, would you run my ads? And my co-host at the time, so we had started this business around the podcast, and we had created like 17 courses, and we started selling them and all that sort of stuff. She wanted nothing to do with done for you. She did not want relationships with people. She just wanted to sell stuff online and not talk to anybody. And I was very different. I'm like, God, going back to my uncle, right? Like, oh my gosh, these entrepreneurs are amazing. But they don't have time to know what I know. And so it kind of started, I mean, it wasn't a plan. I wish I could tell you, I wish to God I could say this was always my plan, but it was not. It was not my plan. I didn't want to start an agency. But all of a sudden, like I started getting these opportunities and they were exciting and they were good and they were lucrative and I was good at it. And crazy thing, because my life has never been smooth sailing. Right after I started the agency, I went into stage 3.5 adrenal failure, which is like pretty rough. Couldn't like, I couldn't sleep. I was so incredibly sick. My doctor said, if you don't get your stress under control, you're going to die. And I was like, oh, okay. Like that's a pretty big wake up call when you already have a sick husband and like all the pressure's on you. And so here I am with this brand new agency. Basically, I'm a freelancer, right? Just me. But all I could do is like manage 12 hours a week. And so I did, and I did the best that I could. And, you know, I started to get well, money was coming in and then I started working more and then I brought on a team member and, you know, and then it just started to snowball from there. But it was a crazy, crazy beginning.
I have a couple questions for you. One, because you said in your first 5 months of the podcast, you hit 1 million downloads. Was there anything that you did there intentionally, or was that like a viral moment for you, or?
Yes and yes. Yeah.
Yes and yes.
Yeah. So back then, you could do things that you can't do today, right? Like there were things that you could do, like with Twitter, you could hack some different things. And so it was actually, to me, it was a very simple tactic. I was a really good short copywriter. Like I could write headlines like crazy. So for every episode, I'd write like 5 to 10 different headlines, basically for every episode. And then we loaded them into what was it called? I don't remember. It's not even around anymore, but we loaded into the software and it would just tweet. It would tweet. Like if you go to my Twitter page, which I'm not active on it really anymore, like thousands and thousands and thousands of tweets, because we would tweet like every 5 minutes, a different episode. And so we drove crazy, crazy amounts of traffic to the show. And you know, and then the other piece is we did get highlighted in a couple of big publications, like entrepreneur.com wrote an article and we were rated the number 1 value-driven marketing podcast for entrepreneurs.
Wow.
In 2015. So
now, okay. So after all this, you start the agency, and it's funny because I've had conversations about this where I think the majority of business owners don't want to talk to clients. They want everything to be automated. They want it all like this machine will take care of all that. I don't need to deal with it. But I do think that there has to be some sort of a medium there if you want to really scale.
Yeah.
I mean, there has to be some. There's going to be contact.
Yep.
But okay, so you started taking on private clients. How big were these clients? Like, what industries were you serving early on? Were you targeting certain industries? Were you just taking who came to you? So tell me about that and like the size of the companies.
So as a matter of fact, I've never actually run an ad for my own business, which is, you know, I don't know if that's hypocritical or what, but everything's always come to me. I've done, you know, a little bit of networking and hustling and things like that. But for the most part, we've been very fortunate. A word of mouth has built our company. So our very first client was an e-commerce brand. It was a monthly subscription box. It was a listener. It was a listener who loved us. And, you know, I think the part, you know, there's a lot of intimacy, right, with a podcast. You're in somebody's ears. So he trusted me. And you know, I was, I think, you know, we didn't stay together for super long. And I think part of that was because I was sick, you know, and it was hard for me to keep up with it. But it was a really fun experience in the beginning, like really geeking out over like architecting this process, you know, so it's not just like slapping up an ad, but like really being intentional about a strategy. So he was my first client. And then I started having a lot of info product clients because we knew, you know, a lot of those people listened to us. And then over time, it's kind of grown. And it's funny because I've got still have a couple of pretty small clients, small meaning like
1 million
maybe like a million, maybe. And then our biggest client does, there are privately held companies. So I'm not sure their recent numbers, but it's well over 500 million in sales. Wow. And they're going to do an IPO they're going to file an IPO this year. And that one's really fun. That's a really fun account to work in.
Yeah. So more flexibility.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So what changes have you seen in the Facebook environment since you started doing this?
I thought you were going to say since this morning.
Yeah. Since the article came out this morning about Mark Zuckerberg visiting at the White House, which there was one this morning. Yeah.
Was it really? Oh,
having a secret dinner with Peter Thiel, also one of my favorite Silicon Valley people of all time. Him and Donald Trump, and they all sat around talking about how they can steal another. I mean,
How can we screw the Winklevoss twins again?
Those poor guys. I won't lie. Like, it terrifies me that my entire livelihood, my team's livelihood. I was telling a prospect the other day, they were asking me about, what do you do to keep your clients' accounts from being shut down? And I said, in 5 years, we've never had an account shut down. Like, we're very much goody two shoes when it comes to following policy. Like, we don't walk in gray areas. And I said, look, I'm just going to be really transparent with you. Like, it's important that we keep your account safe, but this is our livelihood. Every person that works for me, with the exception of one, pays their mortgage with our income. So it's more important.
That's terrifying.
It's terrifying.
Because I mean, like, there may come a point, right, where there's just a mass exodus of Facebook. It just turns into a ghost town. And
there may.
But there will be the next thing, though, right?
Yeah.
So are you looking at any other platforms that might replace that possible eventuality?
Yeah. So, I mean, right now, the thing that there's a couple things that I've been really thinking through, because right now our clients are 50-50 e-commerce and 50% like info products, consultants, coaches, that kind of stuff. And so we've been doing a lot with revenue optimization, like conversion rate optimization. How can we help that? Because that has nothing to do with traffic. We've been looking at that.
So that's like back end funnels, like your
back end, making sure like the buttons are right. Yeah, I mean, simple things like I think, what was I reading the other day? Something I could find the stat for you, but it's I have it right here. It's insane. There's a $213 billion opportunity cost in the U.S. alone because of marketing friction. So friction points.
Explain that
checkout
for a second.
Pages.
What do you mean by friction points? So,
yeah. So I'm going to use it from an ad standpoint, right? So you see an ad, the message resonates with you. You click through, you're like, yeah, the sales page is good. You really, really like it. You're on your mobile phone, because we're all on our mobile phone now. You're laying in bed at night. This actually happened to me, and I did a video about this exact thing. You're like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to buy this. And you go through the whole process, and you get to the end, you get to the checkout, and they don't take any mobile pay. And your wallet is downstairs, and you're in bed, and you're like, I'll get this tomorrow. And then you never get it.
Nope.
Right.
Okay. So that's friction. Like, that's just one thing. It could be load speeds. It could be, we had a client recently that we found that when you clicked on a product preview, there was no button to purchase from the preview. Like, those are friction.
I think if you ask too many questions also before you take the payment, that could also probably create friction.
Our biggest client has an insane cart abandon rate that if they would just, and there's statistics that show if you require somebody to create an account before they purchase, it increases your abandoned cart rate by 24%. Like,
yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So, I mean, things like that. So we're looking at that type of stuff. We're doing more and more consulting for our clients with that. I've been looking at things like bringing in Google, Google pay-per-click. LinkedIn has ads, but they're still
a little weird. Yeah, we've played with them a little bit.
Yeah, they're super weird and they're super expensive. So, I mean, there's always going to be something. So I'm not terribly worried, but I think it's my job as CEO to be looking forward both for my team and for our clients. Is how can we make sure that. So
I'm gonna ask you a hard question here, because your website is divinesocial.com, which is that's a great URL.
Thanks.
So divinesocial.com. And I assume that, based on your experiences and your transformation, there's a spiritual element to that name.
You would be correct.
Yeah. So how do you?
I think I know where this is going.
All right.
So how do you reconcile working with this evil fucking corporation? Giving money to them. I mean, I'll tell you how strongly I am against Facebook. The big client that I'm working with right now, they were breaking down where we're going to put their money for the next quarter, and they had an ungodly more money than I've ever dealt with it was just, I'm like, you could build a hospital with this money, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, well, how do you want to divvy it? And at first I was like, well, Facebook, but then I was like, you know what? F these guys. I am not. I'm advising you guys not to give money to Facebook. How's that? And they were like, well, why not? And I just came up with some bullshit reason, but I'm at a point now where I can't find it in my conscience to give this, like, support this stupid, awful thing anymore. It's evil. So
how do I reconcile that?
How do you do it? How do you do it?
Yeah, there's a lot of things in life these days that are hard to reconcile. But yeah, I mean, it does have a for sure, there is a spiritual connotation. I actually went to 2 years of ministry school. So yeah, like it's part of what got me through all of the things that I've had to go through in life. And so collectively as a team, one of the things that we strive to do, now, this is not addressing the how do we reconcile giving Facebook money. But the one thing that we really try to do is we try to partner with amazing companies doing great things. And we try to make sure that we 100% control it, because we're the ones writing the copy. We're the ones putting the ads out. We really work hard to make sure that the stuff that we put out onto that platform is of value. It's not spammy. It's not clickbait. It's not stuff that is creating, I won't take on a client that is making our culture. I have very strong opinions about this too. It's like, God, I hate Facebook. In fact, I'm actually going to be creating a new profile soon, because one of my highest personal values is relationships. And I think theoretically Facebook, that's what it was supposed to do, is create relationships. But instead it's like, it's done all sorts of things to us.
It's been weaponized.
Well, It has been. So because of some really cool and really difficult things that have happened in my life recently, I don't post on Facebook because there are people I'm related to that stalk me, and it's none of their business what's going on in my life. And so I decided recently, I was inspired by my sister. I have a sister who didn't know for 40 years that she was my sister, and I just found out. Or she just found out.
Was that one of those ancestry things?
No. I wish it was. I thought that's how she was going to find out.
Can you talk about this?
Yeah. I can.
This sounds like a
it.
great story. So let's segue, because I got to give like this.
Short segue.
Yeah. I'll try to do short. So basically, I've known about her. My dad was a piece of human trash. I loved him. He was super fun. Out of all of his children, he was the best.
How do you really feel about him?
Yeah, if you like it, this would not be a short segue. This is one of those wow. Yeah. So anyway,
complicated.
Super complicated. But so basically, when I was 8, I knew he had a girlfriend while he was married to my mother, and I knew she had a baby because the mom chased me home from school one day. Crazy stuff, like really crazy stuff. And small town, like when my brother's 18 months younger than she is, they went to high school together. We had to tell my brother, like, she's your sister, you can't date her. But her family carried on a lie for 40 years. They didn't tell her. She thought her adopted dad was her real dad. Wow. And just recently, one of her sisters couldn't take it anymore and said, enough is enough. Like, your life, we've all been controlled by this lie. We can't do it anymore. And so, ironically, she's in marketing. She is a HubSpot marketing certified partner. Like, it's crazy.
So it's in the blood.
It's in the blood. Okay. Yeah, it's in the blood. So, but anyway, that segue, one of the things that I've learned from her in the short period of time we've been building a relationship is she's done a magnificent job curating the people that she's connected to. And my cousin's wife says, if I won't say hi to you in the grocery store, you're not going to be on my page. And so I'm going to, because I used Facebook the wrong way in the beginning. I've got I've been culling it, but I still have like 3,500 connections. I don't know who these people are. And I want to go back to connection and relationships. So I'm actually going to start a new page, and it's going to be super small, and people I trust and people I care about and people that I want to see their shit and I want them to see mine. And that's
that was my problem too, is I took bad advice. Well, I think the advice was the right advice early on to connect with as many people as possible.
Correct.
But now it's terrible. And now my engagement on Facebook is horrible because I have so many people that, we don't even know who they are. They don't know who I am probably, or maybe they've heard the show once, something like that. And it's not working from an organic traffic standpoint.
And I did kind of the same thing, but I ended up with actually to be perfectly frank, I mean, I don't hide my views on anything, but on the show. But I had a lot of people who were who I liked and I considered friends, and then the election happened, and I was like, how did you become a racist idiot? Like, when did that happen? And they like, I had people literally going back, like stalking my posts and commenting, and it became such a toxic environment that I just decided not to engage in that platform anymore. And I got to tell you, I've been better off for it. I really.
Yeah. Well,
it's
I'll be
happening
honest.
on Twitter a lot too.
Yeah.
We're already talking to our clients. I mean, it's November of 2019. We are talking to our clients about how
close.
Next year is an election year, and it happens in the fourth quarter. And we really need to be prepared, because a lot of e-commerce businesses specifically, they count on Facebook traffic for their fourth quarter sales, and that fourth quarter, they count on that for their whole year sales. So we're already talking strategy for the first part of the year to try to mitigate that, because it's really different. And I think, maybe I sound a little Pollyanna with this, but it's just my personal philosophy as well as our company is we're just trying to put as much good into a place. I just believe light always overcomes dark. And the only way it doesn't is if you don't turn your light on. So we're trying, we're trying.
How are you preparing for the election?
Well, right now we are currently in the midst, as we're recording this, like we are up to our eyeballs in Black Friday, Cyber Monday for this year. So right now, all we're doing is talking about it. Like, we're making every client aware of it. And as soon as we get through the Black Friday, Cyber Monday, holiday, all that, then I think what we're going to do is we're going to start having strategy sessions with every client and talking about what can we do first quarter, second quarter, that we can maybe shake things up that we don't normally do, that we can drive more sales. And actually, it kind of goes back to like our entire philosophy. One of the things I've been talking about for 3 years now, since 3 out of the 5 years of the agency, is the critical nature of making sure that your ad campaigns blend branding with direct response, because the people that are only doing direct response are going to suffer. And so that, with our clients, we run, we call it audience. My IP, I call it the 3 pillars to successful social ads. And it's 3 buckets. And it's essentially audience building, engagement, and conversions. And when you put the 3 of those things into a Venn diagram, the center is the sweet spot. And the clients that we've done that with, and we only do that now, like, you don't get to work with us if you aren't in agreement with this philosophy. By doing that, we create a machine that we can kind of we can scale up and down at any time, pretty much at will. So the focus, I think, into Q1 and Q2 next year is going to be going really, really hard on that audience building and engagement, ballooning up what we call level 2 traffic. Level 2 traffic would be lukewarm traffic. So they go from cold to maybe they watched a video, or they clicked through to a blog post or something like that. And
can I ask you real quick
sure.
on audience building? So for audience building, are you funneling people into a group? Are you talking page likes? Or page followers? Or are you talking getting them on the email list? Like, what to you is qualifying as audience building? Because I imagine not friends, because anyone can get 5,000 friends on Facebook. That doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're not doing anything with business. I mean, with personal pages anyway. But okay. So for us, audience building it's actually very broad. It's fans. It's new fans, because that actually does matter when it comes to ads, right? Because you're a person who's a fan of your business page can see up to 4 ads per day. Everybody else can only see 2. So it does matter. So fans,
and it's social proof when people look back at the page that's running the ad, and if they have like 2 likes, it's that's not a very popular page.
Correct. Yeah. But that's actually, so fans is the least important of all of the things that we're focusing on. We place a heavy emphasis on video viewers, because we can actually build audiences of people who watch certain percentages of videos. Mm-hmm. That's one. It could be link clicks to specific content. So it's typically top of funnel content. That's usually part of it. And then people who engage. They engage with your page. They engage with your post. Think about it this way. Do you guys remember when the Facebook Pixel first came out and everybody was like, build your invisible lists, like build your, pixel people. If you can't get them on your email. Yeah. Okay. So
like 2014-ish around there?
Yeah, somewhere around there. So this is kind of that same philosophy. It's the invisible list, but it's not necessarily only driving them to your site that you can create this pixeled audience. So we focus on, in fact, even in our client dashboards, we have an entire tab that is all around level 2 traffic growth and account health, the things that we can control with the Facebook algorithm. And so it's those things. It's not email. Email would be further down or I guess higher up, hotter traffic. Typically, we get them into that level we call level 2 first, and then email opt-ins would come later.
Let me ask you this, because I've played a lot with Facebook and the back end of the platform, and I understand custom audiences and segmenting by video view percentages and all that. Do you do a lot of multi-step campaigns, meaning like step one is I'm going to release a video and I'm going to run an ad for video views just to build a custom audience.
Yes.
And then step two is now I'm going to use that audience and run that to a landing page, top of funnel thing. Or is that kind of like what you're doing, or what?
Yeah. So we're essentially, what we're doing is we are architecting out advertising funnels. So everyone knows what a funnel is, right? Sales. And if you're in marketing, you know what a sales funnel is. We're architecting out advertising funnels, and I've got so many case studies where if we create this. Now, there's a key to all this. The steps have to be congruent. And this is like common sense, but you'd be surprised at how many people miss this. Even my own coaching clients miss this. The steps have to be congruent, right? So good old Stephen Covey with the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Begin with the end in mind. And then work your way back with the types of information that people would need. We're really, really heavy on using the customer journey framework, so from awareness to interest.
Is it Russell Brunson's, or is that?
No, this is like before Russell Brunson was born. No, I mean, this is like legit, marketing customer journey stuff, So funny. Yeah, okay. In digital marketing, like we think people like Ryan Dice and Russell Brunson.
He did a good job of branding it as his own, but it's not his. Yeah.
No, it's not his. This is like back in, the late 80s, early 90s when I was in college. Like this stuff was around for a while. So even before that, So we're thinking about what types of content do we put in front of those people at the different stages that they're at to help them go to the next step. And so that is essentially what we're doing. And what we find is that when we start to run conversion campaigns to recently engage traffic we've engaged with something of value, something that's congruent, typically it's a third to a half of the conversion cost. Now you have to add in what you paid to get them to that point, but it's usually a fraction of if you went straight to cold.
And what are the conversions that you're running? What kind of conversions?
All of them, pretty much all of them. Do
you ever do like add to cart though, or do you mostly do like you want the actual sale to happen?
So it's funny. It depends on the client, depends on the budget. So and it also depends on the stage in the funnel. So sometimes we will drive add to cart. Right now we've been doing a conversion campaign for an info product client that when we launched it. They had a 20x return on ad spend in the first 36 hours, and the client didn't understand and shut it off. And we were like, "Wait, don't touch! You're not allowed to touch that." Yeah. And so when we got
this is miraculous what's happening here, and you shut it off.
Yeah. Damn it! But when they came back on,
and that hurts it too because it's all driven by artificial intelligence too.
It is
partially anyway. Yeah,
it's super done that way. And so the client came back and turned it on. We turned it back on. We did a whole bunch of stuff to fix some things, and the budget got cut hard. Like we were running $400 a day, and now our budget is let me say it differently. We were running $400 a day on one component of the campaign, and now all we have is $500 for the whole week. For everything.
Why would anyone do that? It doesn't even make any sense. Like if you're profitable, it makes no sense.
Yes. Yes. Welcome to client services, right?
That's her deal or his deal.
His and her deal, husband and wife. So, so what's happening right now is the conversions, the sales conversions are stalled out. So today, as a matter of fact, just before the call, we were looking at it as a team and said, all right, let's back up a step. We're going to have to optimize because it's info products. We have to optimize for landing page views.
What kind of a price point on the product?
It's a $197 price point, and we were getting cost per sale at like $14. Like it was unbelievable.
Turn that off. Wow.
Okay. Yeah. I'm like, turn it off. Give me $1,000 a day. In all fairness, and this is actually one of my favorite clients. They were running a big event. They had a huge event coming up, and they were under the gun for a lot of money for the live event, for hotel rooms and all that. And they panicked and they shut it off.
It's always cash flow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's a big piece, right? Like that's a big piece of this, part of my conversation with clients is on this whole customer journey piece. It's not just architecting campaigns for the customer journey. It's understanding your customer journey, because your customer journey dictates your sales cycle, and your sales cycle dictates your cash flow. And it's shocking to me the number of business owners who don't have any freaking clue about this stuff.
Well, let me ask you this: for the 197, for this particular example, what was it? A video sales letter that would go on the landing page, or was it like a webinar, or was it just a direct long form sales copy page? And what was the How are you informing the clients what they were getting, and then before making that offer? I'm just curious.
Yeah. So for $197, we typically don't need a webinar in my experience, especially if it's going, depending upon who the market is. But so we've had actually very clear steps on this. So this particular client launched a book earlier this year. Huge success. They've been on the Today Show and Entertainment Tonight, and they've been all over the place.
Okay.
So at the top of the funnel for ads, what we do is we have these 4 videos that were basically produced by Jay Shetty. Do you know who Jay is?
Well, I had never heard of him until the controversy. So I didn't know who he was until all this forgery or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, whatever. So
plagiarism.
Plagiarism. His team produced these 4 videos that are essentially the key concepts of this book. So we run those 4, they're viral videos. We've run, oh my gosh, probably 4 million views per video for 4 videos so far this year. It's been amazing. So we run that at the top of the funnel. And then what we do from there is we retarget people who've watched 50% or more. And then we send them to a video of our client being interviewed about his book and the concepts on the Today Show. And the call to action there is to purchase the book. And then anybody that lands on the book purchasing page, then they get offered the masterclass.
Makes sense. Okay.
And the masterclass is just a sales letter. There's not a video. But they've seen multiple videos by the time they get to that point.
Mm-hmm. So you basically build these systems where you're building with each step, you're building upon, like, once you get the yes on one level, then there's another
Correct.
step that, okay.
My opinion, there's a lot of pre-selling being done with these things too. Like the fact that she's been on the Today Show, the fact, like, there's a lot of authority building that's in advance, a lot of what you call like persuasion with and Robert Cialdini style. There's a lot of that, and the fact that they have some familiarity at that point because you've run multiple ads to get them to there. So I think it all matters. Like there has to be a few touch points to really get somebody's trust, especially like this day and age.
It's huge, right? So when I was at AT&T, we knew back then in the 90s, right, that it took seven touches before you could get a decision from a client on average.
Rule of 7.
I've been hearing some crazy numbers recently though.
Well, so here's one number. The average adult gets 400 marketing messages a day. 400, right?
Yeah, that's the average. I probably get 3 times that.
Right, because we're in marketing. So there's a great book. It's I think he did a refresh not too long ago, but it's called Endless Referrals by Bob Berg. It's an oldie but a goodie. Mm-hmm. And in it, he talks about this concept of all things being equal, people do business with people they know, like, and trust. And so I took that concept, right, and my whole concept of this sales cycle and all of that kind of thing, and said, all right, look, it's not just know, like, and trust. Because think about this, right? It's the middle of the night. I'm in Colorado, so the heat goes out. Now, in the middle of the night, at the zero moment of truth, who am I going to call? Am I going to call the person that I never hear from, but I love them and they're a great human being and I totally forgot what they do for a living? Or am I going to call the person that's been direct mailing me and they've been in my newsfeed and they sent me a magnet on my refrigerator? I'm going to call the person, not just that I know, like, and trust, but that I remember. And that's the key. And that's what most people are, when you combine the two, if you can combine the know, like, and trust by providing with top of mind. That's why I think our clients are crushing it on Facebook, because we're using all of those things together and not just slapping up a conversion campaign to try to generate leads.
Okay. And now, ignoring the controversy for now, are you running any traffic on Instagram too? Are you running paid ads on Instagram also, or is everything exclusively Facebook? Are you what about like splits in terms of desktop, mobile? Have you played with anything there?
Yes. Yeah, I got a lot of data on that.
And even like iOS versus Android operating systems, those kind of things.
Yep. Yeah. So we've got some killer reporting. My younger brother is a predictive analytics
That's right, you mentioned
specialist.
Fantasy football is stud.
Fantasy football, he is. On Twitter, you can follow him at Rynoon if you like fantasy football. But he's kind of our data scientist, and so we're doing a lot of high level things that we didn't used to do, which is so freaking cool. So yeah, we run Facebook and Instagram. It's the same platform. I loved it when everyone was like, "I'm leaving Facebook and going to Instagram." It's like, same company, people, but that's okay.
I'm going to Oculus.
I'm going to do WhatsApp. Oh, wait. So we're still personally finding that even with e-com, Instagram is more expensive. It's not really there yet. Instagram is an excellent place for people to discover brands, but it's not going to get the cost that you're going to see on Facebook. The other thing that I'm seeing across all of our clients is it used to be that people would just start the process on mobile and then they'd finish the process on desktop. That is not happening. It's starting and finishing on mobile. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. It's even funny because I'm seeing that when we break out our numbers, you've got desktop, Facebook app, and then Facebook mobile app. And the mobile app is basically using a Chrome browser or something on your phone or something and accessing Facebook that way. Converting that way happens more these days than even desktop does.
Yeah, so I believe it, and it just takes a while for people to trust new technologies like mobile. But I knew this was coming. It's just it's starting to actually be here now.
So what would you say, like, if somebody wanted to run kind of a smaller campaign, like they're a solopreneur or they maybe have a smaller team, what would you say are the best strategies right now for Facebook and Instagram as far as
how about testing budgets too, like budgets too?
Yeah, those are two loaded questions. All right, so it depends on what your budget is, right? Okay, so if you are on a shoestring budget and you want to dip your toe in and you want to start getting some momentum, I think my opinion is the best place to start is to create a video ad, create some kind of video content that is highly, highly valuable. So Gary V, right? The jab, 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 right hook. Like give your best stuff, and create. So just from a technical standpoint, 2 minutes or under, that video can play in Facebook and Instagram feeds. However, some of our best performing ads are 6, 7, 8 minutes. We had one video that was 49 minutes and the client made I think it was $89,000 on that one 49-minute video. So create a video that is, if you were to meet your perfect prospect, what's their biggest pain that you can solve it. And at the end of it, have a really soft call to action, and then run it as a video view campaign and use it to test audiences and just get it in front of as many people as you possibly can. Like if you're on a shoestring budget, you got $5 a day, like that's all you can do. That's what I would say. If you have more than that, then what I would suggest is you're running something like that along with a conversion campaign. When we first were like working out the kinks on this process that we have, we made the mistake with one client who said they had an unlimited budget, and
when trusting them,
we trusted that. Well, I actually knew her personally, which was super heartbreaking in the end. So what we did is we built out our strategy from the top down, and what happened was she ran out of money. She misled us, first of all. And then what we realized in all of it is we actually need to, so what we do now with our clients is we actually have multiple phases in the campaigns, and we try to get cash flow as fast as humanly possible, get some cash flow, and then go back to the top of the funnel and build down. So it really depends on where you are. And then budgets, like, oh Lord, I always joke with our clients, like, we're your ads team. We always want more money. Like, we just want more money because we can get more data. So I think it's really important. And one thing we're actually rolling out here as soon as Black Friday, Cyber Monday and stuff is over, is we're actually going to create secondary ad accounts for all of our clients that will be testing accounts. And that's where we're going to test audiences. We're going to test creatives. We're going to test copy. And we're going to have all of those things running on relatively low budgets, probably $5 to $10 a day per test. And so they're always running in the background. And so when we start to have ad blindness or we have to, refresh creative, we have the data somewhere else that we can just move over into the main account.
I have a couple more questions for you, and these are probably pretty high level for most people, but they're relevant. They can catch up later and figure it out. So if, like, when you're running an ad, like for split testing, for instance, do you run like several different sorry, I'm all of a sudden I blanked on the name. There's the ad, there's the
ad set, and
ad set. Thank you. Are you running like several ad sets into one ad, or what? How do you usually like structure those kind of campaigns? Like, if you have one ad, how many ad sets? Like, are you? I know some people that will pick like one interest level, and some could do a ton of them. Those kind of things.
Yeah. So the one interest level really was the thing of the past, and because today, the way the algorithm works is it's actually gotten really good, which is sometimes scary, but it's gotten really good. And so you want to make sure that especially cold traffic, you want your audiences to be as big as they possibly can. So back in the day where it would be like Russell Brunson is a target and Gary Vee is a target and Tony Robbins is a target, and you'd run them all separate. Yep. Today, we typically lump them all into one. We're trying, and if we do break them out, we break them out. Sure.
Could you say lump them all into one? Because if you list them on one section, it's an or kind of thing.
Correct.
Do you exclude it? Do they have to like this, and this, or do you leave it as the or?
It just depends on what we're doing, right? So if we're looking for a B2B client, we'll have like maybe 5 or 6 interests, so that this one or this one or this one or this one, and they must be a business owner. Or a Facebook page administrator or something like that. So that's when we use those exclusions. But typically at the top of the funnel, we try to keep the audiences as big as possible. And then from a split test, like when we're setting that up, it goes back to the client's budget, right? So if the client has a big enough budget, then we might have 10, 12, 15, 20 ad sets in a campaign. And we may have just one ad in each one. It depends on what we're testing and what we're trying to get out.
The only thing I see is like when I do that, like the budget does not allocate equally. And I know that Facebook kind of determines for you, but it doesn't seem like they're always right also.
No, they're never right. They are never right. They're never right. It's so frustrating because, we test out all these cool new softwares and they always promise that the AI is going to be, get rid of your job or whatever. And it's like, they never do as good of a job as we do.
Do you think that AI will ever replace you at some point?
I think I am irreplaceable, first and foremost, Andrews.
Well, obviously.
Well, no, actually, I wouldn't answer that with all sincerity. We're on a mission as a company to become indispensable to our clients. And I know that AI will replace some of the things that we do. But most of our clients don't hire us for the button pushing. We do the button pushing, but they really hire us to think. They hire us to build out these strategies. They hire us to do those things. And I don't think AI is going to replace that. If I was just a button pusher, if I built my entire agency around, I can run your ads, sure. That would be different.
What about something like clicks versus landing page views? My understanding is landing page views, all that means is that the page fully loaded is like the only difference.
Yeah,
so
and it's really important.
You optimize for a landing page over clicks then, I take it?
All the time. Yeah, always. We still measure click-through rate. Like click-through rate's important. We look at that as an indicator of the performance. But landing page views, if you're going to do just a traffic campaign, just traffic. Like you're not trying to get optimized for landing page views because it is it lets you know that those people actually saw what was on the page. There's no telling if they bounced or not after that, but it's also a really good indicator. Sometimes people don't look at their Google Analytics. It's a good indicator that you have a load speed problem.
Okay, that's a good point too.
Yeah, and that's something that you really have to pay attention to because that will hurt the success of your ads.
My last question for you, because I know we're getting toward the end of our time. Anders might have another one, but lookalike audiences. Do you use them? Like, what's your experience been with lookalike audiences? Have you done like buyer lookalike audiences, things like that? I've played with them a little bit. I've seen good engagement, but not necessarily good conversions from it.
Yeah. So when we set up cold traffic campaigns, we do 3 categories. We do lookalikes, we do interest-based, and then we do broad audiences. Depending upon the account, broad audiences can be insane. We have $750 a day on one client broad audience. It's just targeting women between the ages of 18 and 65. And that's all our targeting is. And we're getting some of our best cost per acquisition in that. Lookalikes can be really, really great. And I think they're incredibly important if you're going to try to scale. And it's really, the crazy part about lookalikes is there's no rhyme or reason to which percentage and which lookalikes. You might find that your lookalikes of your fans convert better than lookalikes of your purchasers. I wish I understood why. I don't, sometimes, it's a science and an art what I do. I don't understand all of it. We just do a lot of it. So we start to figure it out.
And you test it all. You try it all.
And we test it all. Yeah. Everything in our world is like, I don't know, let's test it.
No, and that's ultimately that's what marketing is.
Right,
really is just like, well, let's try this thing. And it's funny because I had a client a year ago, and they had they were a skincare brand. And they were having trouble with their Facebook ads, mostly because all of their Facebook ads were like beautiful models that were just like shiny faces. I'm like, these people are not relatable. And so what I did was they were also doing some influencer marketing. So I took one of the videos that one of the influencers made, and then I ran that as an ad. And,
yeah, that's awesome. Really smart.
And it like the analytics were through the roof, and it was like, okay, guys, so let's do that. And
let's double down.
Yeah, they fired me.
You're kidding. I mean, we could have a whole nother like hour-long conversation about just that in general. Like, this is a social platform. You got to fit in. People don't want to see overproduced stuff. They're really suspicious of it. There's so much controversy around the platform. And I know we didn't, Andros, we could have gone even further, but we're trying over here to do really good things with something that, there's been a lot of crap, and it's really frustrating, but I think I'm really proud of the work we're doing. And
with the election year, there might be more controversies coming. We'll see. Yeah.
So
are you kidding me?
Yeah. So do you you do the creatives too for the ads?
So it depends on the client. It depends on what it is. But we are not a graphic design team. That's probably my greatest weakness right now. I think probably early next year, I'll be looking to hire somebody to really fill that gap. But we write all the copy, because writing copy for social is not like writing copy for email or for a sales page. It's totally different. So we write all of that. We consult on the creative. We consult on all of that.
Do you see that more story oriented on social, or like what do you mean? Give me one example of how it's different. I'm just curious.
Just in terms of copy
versus social versus email. Yeah,
it's a lot more conversational. It's much more like, how would you write if you were going to post something yourself? Yeah. There was this kind of trend going on for a little while with this format of how you should write all your ads, and it was super, super long, and it was like, that just doesn't feel right. Like, none of it felt right. So there's also certain things like, you can't use personal attributions, and you can't say you. Like, are you frustrated with? You can't do any call outs. Like, it's just totally different. So, it's a lot of times the client, until we really know the client voice, like, they'll give us bullet points, and they'll give us like what they think the copy should be, and then we massage it and fix it, and then eventually we take it over and write it all.
That's really good, client. That's really good. But
but we tell them up front, so they know that's coming. And most of them really, really appreciate the fact that we're doing it so it's going to succeed, and then they appreciate that we're doing that to really learn their voice. Yeah. So the worst thing is when you write copy and it doesn't sound like them and they're pissed. Yeah. So
100% agree with that. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, man, this was super exciting. I could.
Don't lie. You hate Facebook.
It is, because because I am now disconnecting from the platform. There's a lot that I don't
know. Miss out on stuff.
There's other stuff I would love to ask you about, how to get people, convert people, not only with their ads, but how do you recommend people do what they do when they get to a landing page? Like, what you recommend is there, and also just more the structure of the funnel, and also authenticity. Like your business, according to your own bio, is really about having authentic marketing, and I want to find out more about that. Will you come back on the show? We would love to.
I was going to just say, you should have me back on. Yeah. I'd love to.
Yeah, we didn't get into the authentic stuff. That was a whole thing we were going to cover too.
Yeah. Sorry, we had so many interesting things to talk about.
Well, this is great, but since we are the marketing geeks, we want to find out.
Well, wait, before that, Andros, let's give her a chance to plug the website. Yeah. So let's plug the website. So go ahead, Traci.
Yeah. Okay. So I've got a mini course. It's a free course. It talks about our 3 pillars. It's the strategy of it. So you can get that and connect with me on all the social platforms. If you go to divinesocial.com/marketing geeks. And for those of you that are hardcore, really wanting to scale your Facebook or your Instagram ads, if you're already running a couple $1,000s a month of traffic and you want me to take a look at it, then email me directly at Traci@divinesocial.com. And I'll schedule a 15-minute session. We'll share a screen. I'll look at your ads manager, take a look and see if I can make any suggestions for you. I'd be happy to do it for this audience. It's been, especially because I know you may also hate Facebook like Andros does. So I want to help.
Well, that's a very generous offer. And we'll put a link in the description below. So at least, check out and you're still doing the podcast, yeah?
Yeah, show's still there. Yeah, check us out too. If you want a little bit of nonsense between my co-host Don and I, we do get to business, but sometimes, oh Lord, you have no idea how we might start a show.
And what was the name of that show again?
It's the Social Media Marketing Happy Hour.
Social Media Marketing Happy Hour. Okay.
Awesome. Well, man, thank you so much for doing this. Now, before you go, we always like to geek out on, find out what other people are geeking out about. So, what are you geeky about right now? Movie, TV show, book, hobby?
Oh my gosh!
What are you most geeky about right now?
I'm like, because of the whole thing with my sister, I'm pretty geeky about, I've been doing a lot of ancestry.com stuff. It's ironic, finding that out. I was in Florida with my Nana, who's 93, and her sister, who's 95. And so I had my ancestry dashboard up, asking them questions, filling it out. So I'm pretty, outside of business, I'm pretty geeky about that at the current moment.
That's great. That's great. Well, I want to find out more about that story because that sounds fascinating.
It's crazy.
Justin, what are you geeky about right now, man?
Well, if you love Mark Zuckerberg, then I think you really love...
Which I do.
Come on,
I think you're really going to love this TV show. I told you about it last episode too, I think. There's a show called Succession on HBO, which is about like corporate greed and a bunch of family members backstabbing each other, trying to take over the company that their dad ran. The dad has a stroke in the first episode, and so everybody sees an opening and they're all gunning for it. Unfortunately, the dad does not die, but it makes for great television. So it's a great show. That and then our prior guest Chase Hughes. I've got his book, The Ellipsis Manual. So I'm trying to work through that and get better at reading human behavior. So we'll see.
I thought you were going to say you were just getting better at reading, like
Oh yeah, that too. Reading
with your son's like ABC book,
Dr. Seuss.
Maybe there. I'm currently watching the impeachment hearings, and that's it's riveting. It's
Can't miss
riveting.
TV.
It's riveting because there are people who are coming up and just kind of explaining, like, these people are inflammable. Like, if I had to sit up there and like explain this stuff, I would be losing my mind, and like it'd be hard for me to talk. I'd be like, and so you have basically like these people who are career, politicians talking about what happened, and then you have you just have banana heads. Like there's banana heads.
One of my goals right now is I'm trying to strike a happy medium between like news and not news. Like I feel like in the past I can go down rabbit holes and get into that. It's like it wastes so much time. So I'm trying to like limit my exposure.
Yeah, I feel like you were really fortunate.
Yeah.
For Andros, for you to even take the time out to record this, because like you should be watching the hearings.
Yeah,
right
you're
now.
missing out, man.
I feel pretty grateful.
Here's the secret. You want to know the secret? So when the hearings are live, I wait until they're like several hours in, and then I go on YouTube and I listen to them at double speed.
There we go. And you catch right up.
That's right.
And then they speak at normal rates. You probably gotta go triple speed for those.
Yeah, because they speak really slowly. Anyway, it's history in the making. It's just fascinating to watch. I'm geeky about it, and that's what's going on. So everybody, Traci Reuter, thank you, Reuter. Thank you so much for being on the show. And please come back. We're going to have you back.
Thanks for having me.
A lot of fun.
I'd love to.
Yeah. Marketing Geeks.